Okay, everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Liam Hartree here, just sharing a quick lesson with you that I hope will help you to become a better version of yourself and live a more happy and fulfilled life. As I always say, I'm not perfect, but I do love helping people, sharing positive stuff with people and empowering you to live your best life. And there's a little tip I wanted to share here that it might sound a little bit outside the box, but it's super helpful. Excuse me, for you in chasing your dreams and goals, becoming more successful, being the best version of yourself in whatever way that means to you, whether it's a happy family, whether it's more money, whether it's more career success, whether it's a loving relationship, better friendships, quitting addictions, whatever. I'm trying to cover things in these videos that cross different areas that help people. Okay, and this one today is I actually want to talk to you a little bit about a lot of the subliminal programming that goes on in our society. This is something that actually happens to us every day, but we don't even realize it. So think about it like this. A lot of people are aware of how a religion works. And whether you're a religious person or not doesn't matter. I'm just talking about the principle here of subliminal programming. So what happens is you have a conscious mind, your daily thinking, your daily plans, your daily motivations and everything like that. You have a subconscious mind underneath that with all your beliefs about yourself, about life, about the world, all your memories, even the ones you can't remember right now, good, bad, indifferent, your goals, what motivates you, how you feel about yourself. Everything that's not literally being used right now is still there, and if I say to you, remember something that happened 5 years ago, and you think, oh man, I have to think, when was that? And eventually you remember, you're pulling that out of your subconscious. Everything you've ever experienced from when you were born is there, whether you know about it or not. And the thing about the subconscious mind is in the modern world, a lot of people are using subliminal programming to program us with things that we may not actually believe. And it's not really like a conspiracy theory. It's a very practically applied science. And basically, it has to do with advertising. If you look at the principle of advertising, and by advertising, I mean anything that you see on YouTube, on Netflix, on social media, on the TV, whatever, in magazines. A lot of advertising, not all of it, but a lot of advertising is selling something to people based upon a lack, based upon something that you don't have that you need. Okay. And in order to do that, they have to subconsciously bully you in a way by saying, okay, you're not good enough as you are. And by the way, you're missing out, and all of the fun is happening somewhere else, allegedly. Now, it's actually not. But that is actually the principle that a lot of these big companies, everything from big pharma to cars, TVs, clothes, whatever. If you were good enough as you are right now, would you really need to buy that product? In most cases, no. In most cases, unless it's something essential that you use day to day, probably not. Now think about this. It's especially true with women and how women feel about their bodies. And the thing is, women, if every woman out there and any women watching this now woke up tomorrow and you liked your body the way it was or the way it is, you liked your face, you liked your hair, you felt good about yourself, how many companies would go out of business? I mean, think about it. Most of them, most cosmetic companies, most clothing companies, whatever. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't have a little bit of sort of fun with themselves, trying to look a bit better, men, women, whatever. I mean, having a sense of pride in yourself, great, fantastic. But the principle is literally all day long when we're opening our phones, when we're watching stuff on TV, when we're walking past billboards and things in the street, whatever, there is constantly a subliminal message being delivered that you're not even consciously thinking of, but you're sort of aware of that is better than. And social media feeds this a lot. So I know we're going a bit deep with this, but stay with me, guys. So with this, social media feeds this a lot. People post on social media what they want you to see most of the time, not what is actually happening. So a big one with this is like, when you, like, I know people who are shy, introverted people, right? They'll go out to a club. I've used this example before. They'll go out to a nightclub, they'll sit down at the table, they'll have a few drinks and everything. They'll sit there all night, they'll be on their phones, they'll be talking to each other. And that's cool. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But they'll then go on a dance floor or something, take a few selfies, a few videos, go and sit back down. They might maybe take a look on those little boomerang things, those little Instagram things of like toasting your drinks and everything. And then, you know, I would wake up the next day and I would look on their Instagram and everything, or their Facebook or whatever. I see it come through my feed. And it looked like they were having the best night. It looked like they were dancing. It looked like they were drinking. It looked like they were doing whatever. When in reality, they were just sitting there on their phones, you know, looking bored and fed up for a lot of the evening. Now, that's an extreme example. And if you want to go out and sit down and have a conversation, nothing's going to stop you. You don't have to dance. You don't have to do anything. It's probably better to go to maybe a cocktail place or something instead of a nightclub if you want to talk. But all that's up to you. It's your life. The point is, on social media, people only share what they want you to see. Most of the time, they share their highlight reel. They share their best moments, their most perfectly set up, you know, perfect moments. They don't really share the things they don't want you to see, the things they don't like about themselves, the darker side of life, their bad days, or even just their mundane days where you get up and it's just a boring day. People don't share that. So especially in this generation, myself included, a lot of people grow up comparing themselves to these false ideals, you know. And it comes with everything, and it's subliminal. Even if you think of something like food porn, that sort of idea, you know, people put these amazing meals up on there and you think, man, can I cook as good as that? Even with actual even with actual pornography and things, you know, it's distortion of sexuality, and, you know, giving young people false ideas all of the time. There's this subliminal messaging with almost everything we do, that we are not good enough, that our time is running out, you know, you've got to do it while you're young, YOLO, whatever, all of this stuff. And this stuff is in a way its own religion. That's why I mentioned religion earlier. Just because we're not going to church, just because we're not doing these things, it's still happening. You know, back at a point in time, a lot of people still believe, and obviously in God. Whether you believe in God or not doesn't matter, but you believe in principle. You know, you live the right way, you get rewarded. You live the wrong way, God will punish you. Well, in the Western world now, like where I'm from in the UK, a lot of that has declined, even though it's still there. And now it's the media. You know, if you don't buy this particular thing, you won't be popular. Or if you do this particular thing, you'll be demonized by the media. You know, look at cancel culture, for example. Cancel culture is equivalent to being struck down by God Almighty for being a sinner. Because, you know, if you do something that doesn't agree with the establishment, you don't say what they want you to say, you don't talk how they want you to talk, you don't buy into all of these things they're selling, then, you know, you can be struck down, you can be cancelled, you can be, you know, wiped off everything, and people live in fear of that. When really, you know, you look at people back in the day, you know, who fought for what they believe in, whether it was right or wrong, doesn't matter. Martin Luther King died for his beliefs. Malcolm X died for his beliefs. Nelson Mandela did 27 years in prison for his beliefs. You look at Gandhi, you look what he went through in his life. You know, all of these people now, okay, you know, you're not popular, you trend on Twitter for a while, and then it kind of blows over, you know. So it's a fearful idea. And rather than sort of having like a rant about what's happening in the world, what I'm trying to get at here is what we can do about it, because you have to counteract the psychological poison, and it is a poison that is seeping into virtually everyone's mind in the modern day and age from a very young age. And that's the other thing that leaves us susceptible. You know, most people, single families, single mothers, single fathers, people working all the hours, and sometimes the technology, you know, our phones, our devices actually have more time with us when we're growing up or when we're at influential stages in our life than our actual parents or actual role models should do. And a lot of these role models are negative, not because I'm preaching or telling people how to live, but because they are not really putting across a message that leads to happiness. They're putting across a message that leads to the fact that you're always going to need more. You're always going to need to look better. You're always going to need to go on a better holiday and outdo your friends. You're always going to need to have a better sexual encounter than the one you had before. You're always going to need to drink at the best places. You're always going to need to buy the best clothes, be the best this, buy that car on finance to impress your neighbors, whatever. And again, I'm not down on materialism, because having material comforts is great, but I am down on the fact that they are selling to people, to you, this concept of chasing after these things that you can never catch, and the fact that you can, but you're trying to catch the wind. So next time you see something that's advertising, next time you see something that is effectively grandiose, just remember that it's saying to you pretty much point blank, in one way or another, you're not good looking enough, you're not attractive enough, you're not funny enough, you're not dressed well enough, you don't have the best car. That's what they're actually saying to you, so that you buy their product. And remember, you're not buying the product because you want to buy the product. You're buying the product because you think it's going to get you a result. You think it's going to get you more love, more sex, more money, more fun, more whatever. And in actual fact, you can have all of those things and be perfectly happy with them without having to up the level every time. The problem with happiness is every time you obtain it, you have to raise the bar next time to obtain it again, and you'll spend a lot of your time unhappy and a lot of your time chasing happiness. If you focus on joy, you focus on what you bring to the table, who you really are, the things that are unique about you that nobody else has. I mean, if I drop dead today, there is no other Liam. And it doesn't mean I'm better than anybody, but it does mean I'm different to everybody. There is nobody else out there who is exactly like me. There might be people who look a bit like me, sound a bit like me, whatever, but they're not me, and they never will be, because I'm totally unique and therefore irreplaceable, and so are you. Okay, and it's not an arrogant thing, it's a self-love thing, and it's the very, very thing that these big companies are trying to take away from you. People are not better or worse, people are just different. People may be better or worse at one thing, but nobody is better or worse at everything. So it's as simple as that, guys. Thank you for bearing with me on that one long topic. If you could please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, that'd be great. There's a lot more inspiring content on there. Follow me on social media at Liam Hartree, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.